My story starts with simple beginnings. I was raised by a single mother, the eldest in a household held together by love and resilience. We didn't have much, but we always had enough. Those early years taught me something I carry to this day. Strength is not always visible, but it can always be felt. And sometimes your dreams have to speak louder than your circumstances, louder than your reality. I didn't know exactly where life would take me, but I knew I wanted more than what was around me and more than what others were telling me I could do. Then education became my path forward. I was fortunate to receive a scholarship, and I was the first in my family to attend university. Today, I work in supply chain, and I continue to learn through a master's degree program. Still learning, still growing, still finding new ways to take responsibility and to make an impact. I believe these are achievements and milestones, but I do not think they are the whole story. Because for me, what matters most is not just what we achieve, but who we become along the way. For me, that meant embracing responsibility. Not just as a duty, but as an opportunity. It meant choosing to rise, not in spite of my background, but because of it. And it meant choosing and seeing leadership not just as a title, but as an action. And success not as a personal gain, but as collective growth. Along this journey, I discovered a powerful idea that changed the way I see leadership and responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, as many of you know, CSR. At first, CSR to me sounded more like a technical term, something reserved to large companies and boardrooms only. But the more I learned, the more I realized that CSR is not just a formality. CSR is about values. It's about impact. And above all, of course, it's about responsibility. Something I had grown up watching in action. And I believe that too often, CSR is reduced to a checklist, a report, a campaign, a program. But at its heart, I think that CSR is so much more. To me, CSR is a mindset. It is a way of seeing business as a force, not just for profit, but for progress. And I think that when organizations truly embrace social and environmental responsibility, they begin to ask different questions. For example, what can we do? Not just because we have to, but because we should. What legacy are we actually leaving behind? And how are we impacting the world around us? I once volunteered in a youth group partnering with communities impacted by coastal erosion. And in that project, we planted mangrove saplings along the shoreline. It was hard, messy work, wading into muddy water, hands deep in the earth. But we knew that every root we planted actually helped protect the coast, also restore balance, and bring hope to people living around. There was no media, no big headlines, just consistent action. And in another project with this time underprivileged children, we helped set up an after-school tutoring program. Unfortunately, many of these kids had issues to study a quiet place at home, or they didn't even have the help at home to complete their schoolwork. So, slowly, when we had these sessions, their confidence grew as they realized they could actually understand tough topics and they could improve their grades. And one day, a little girl came to me, all smiling, and she said, "Now, I believe I can go to university one day too." And that, my friend, that sentence, that simple hope reminded me how much power lies in giving young people the tools to dream bigger. To me, that's what responsibility looks like. That's what vision sounds like. And here's the truth. CSR is not, I repeat, it is not limited to companies. I think it is a culture, a practice, a way of showing up in the world, whether you are an executive, a teacher, a student, or a community member. As youth, we have more power than we actually realize. We influence conversations. We shape culture. We decide what trends, what grows, and what matters. We are not just the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. And do you know what's the good news? You do not have to launch one movement to actually make an impact around you. Let that sink. You do not have to launch one movement to make an impact around you. Choosing to shop ethically, for example, is a form of CSR. Volunteering your time is CSR. Refusing to remain silent in the face of injustice, that too, my friend, is a form of CSR. Choosing kindness, fairness, transparency in your everyday life is also a form of CSR. I think we need to build a culture where doing the right thing is actually the easiest thing, and where businesses do not just give back, but they give forward, and where profit do not come at the expense of people or the planet, where youth are seen as necessary for change and not naive for caring. I believe me and you, we can shape that future. Again, not in spite of where we come from, but because of it. That's why I hold onto this idea, held by roots and moved by vision. Our roots matter. Yes, they do. Our roots give us stability. They remind us of who we are, the families that shaped us, the communities that supported us, the stories that live in our bones. My roots taught me resilience, empathy, and humility. Your roots might have taught you courage, generosity, or independence. But roots alone do not define our direction. If we let them hold us back, we risk staying stuck in the soil. That's why we also need a vision, a bold, forward-looking hope, a sense of what is possible even if it hasn't been done yet. Vision is what allows us to imagine better. Vision is what transforms a dream into a shared mission. It is what lifts us and others higher. When we are held by our roots, we carry the lessons, the values, and our identity falls down to us. And when we are moved by vision, we step forward, carrying courage, clarity, and purpose. This is how I believe we create meaningful change. Not with grand gestures, but with deep intention. Not with perfection, but with consistency. So, if you remember anything from my story today, let it be this. Your roots can ground you, but they never have to cage you. Let them remind you of your strength. Let them inspire your direction. Let them keep you steady as you stretch forward to achieve greater. But when we stand rooted in who we are and move forward towards who we can become, there's no limit to the change we can create. So again, your roots can ground you, but they never have to cage you. Thank you.